On a night where WWE literally turned everything upside down. On Monday Night Raw following Clash of Champions, they roll on into Knoxville, Tennessee. How do they follow up the pay-per-view on Sunday night? Well, let's see. We got Bray Wyatt and The Fiend versus Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. That is now made official. Cedric Alexander continues to lose and continues to be buried on WWE television. Braun Strowman continues to be directionless following his losing efforts on Sunday night. Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch can't swing a steel chair. Kane returns. Yes, Kane in 2019 to Monday Night Raw. And all hail King Corbin right here from Monday Night Raw on Off the Script.
Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script.
Oh my God, man. Holy shit. Oh my God, Knoxville, Tennessee. My God. You don't need a CVS or a Dwayne Reed or a Rite Aid or a Walgreens to go get your sleep medication. All you gotta do is go sit in that crowd and listen to that crowd make absolutely no noise all night, and you'd be put to sleep like a fucking baby. That crowd was absolutely one of the worst I have ever seen in Monday Night Raw history. Definitely one of the worst I've seen all year in 2019. That show was god-awful. God-awful. I want to see what cretin in the community that's going to praise this shit and give it all these ups for Monday Night Raw. My God. This show was so bad. So bad. And the funny thing is, I was reading on Twitter while I was cursing this show to the fucking heavens that Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn were not there. Triple H wasn't there either. This show was run specifically by Paul Heyman and whoever else was writing this shit show along with him creatively. Now, I understand why Triple H is not there. Triple H obviously has to get ready with NXT going live on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on the USA Network. He's got the biggest excuse of them all, which is 100% legitimate. He don't even need to be there. In most cases, I don't even know why he would be there. Vince McMahon, nobody knows what's going on with him. He's 74 years old. He might have some health issues. They'll probably cite some XFL business. Whatever. Sure, he ran the phones and he ran the show via Skype, right? I'm sure that he was in everybody's headset right from the comfort of his own couch. Then we got Kevin Dunn. I'm sure he moseyed on into some forest somewhere and oversaturated himself with wood, you know? But what did I tell you a couple of weeks ago when we started talking about the possibility of a draft? And what did I tell you about all the creative changes that WWE was making? Ryan Ward is out now as SmackDown creative. Took a leave of absence to go get married, right? Yeah, I'm sure he got married, but I'm sure he was absolutely thrilled to take a leave of absence. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he be thrilled? When Vince McMahon rips up his scripts every single week, I would want to take a fucking leave of absence as well. But I said it then, and I'm going to reiterate it again here. It doesn't matter who's running this show. Doesn't matter who's running Raw. Doesn't matter who's running SmackDown. The show is always going to be overseen by the same person that's been in charge for 27 years. It doesn't matter. Everything that Vince McMahon is trusting Paul Heyman with. I said it then. Vince McMahon is trusting Paul Heyman to run the show the way he wants, not the way Paul Heyman wants to run it. These shows are going to be run in the same vein that Vince McMahon would run the shows, and Vince McMahon doesn't need to be there. Because why would there need to be change on Monday night when you can have Paul Heyman do it and Vince McMahon doesn't need to show up? He can manipulate and brainwash somebody else to do the same fucking shitty job that he's been doing for the last 27 years. Nothing's going to change. They gave Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff these roles backstage to simply be a meat shield. Because when the shows are bad like it was tonight, who are we going to blame? It's easy to blame Vince McMahon. Now we're going to blame Paul Heyman. This is Paul Heyman's show. This is Paul Heyman's vision. We're going to go right to the source. Paul Heyman. This show was god-awful tonight. The only redeeming quality of Monday Night Raw tonight was Bray Wyatt and The Fiend and them setting up the match with Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. We got the confirmation of Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, even though what they did tonight was not good at all. We got confirmation about that inside Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship. So just based off tonight, with the two matches that they announced, Hell in a Cell is actually looking like a pretty damn good show. With those two matches, hopefully being the only two matches that are inside Hell in a Cell. And my God, man, Baron Corbin is impressing a lot of people. And in one tournament has made me a fan. Now you know why I love tournaments so much. Look at what it did for Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin and Chad Gable tonight gave you a great final in the King of the Ring that we're going to go over. And after the end of this tournament, everybody was worried and just feeling nauseous at the thought of Baron Corbin being called King Corbin. Everybody was upset that Baron Corbin was going to win King of the Ring. I can't find any reason to hate on this at all. And I think after this entire tournament, Baron Corbin won a lot of people over to a point where now he's King of the Ring, and I don't think anybody really minds that he is the king of WWE. But Chad Gable and Baron Corbin tore it down tonight on Monday Night Raw. We're going to go over everything following Clash of Champions on this September 16th, 2019 edition of Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so very much for joining me. I am JD. Please hit that subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys missed my Clash of Champions podcast, if you guys missed my official review of Clash of Champions, it is live on the channel right now. Thank you guys so very much. We're nearing 2,000 likes, and we're over 30,000 views in less than 24 hours, man. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Make sure you guys go and check all that out live on the channel, as well as the flagship podcast, episode 291 of Off the Script. We got predictions for Clash of Champions, and we got the story about Big Cass being punched out, knocked out by WWE producer Pat Buck at a Wrestle Pro show in Rahway, New Jersey. My thoughts on that, so make sure you guys go and check that out. Everything you need will be linked down in the description below this Monday Night Raw review. Make sure you guys follow me on social media as well. JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can certainly do so as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. The podcast tonight is brought to you by Blue Chew. I think we all need Blue Chew after tonight, because this show, I'm sure, left you all SAWFT, like Enzo Amore used to say, soft. Guys, I know how difficult it is. Monday night, you're watching Raw, and after it's all over, you go to bed. You should be watching me right here on Off the Script, but you probably go to bed, and you try and get some rest before a full day of work on Tuesday. Don't worry, I got you. I got you. I'm going to make your work days a little bit more enjoyable. But you go to bed, and your wife or your girlfriend want to fool around. Honey, please, can we fool around? We haven't really done it in about 6 months. It's starting to look like a haunted house down there, man. And then you look at her and you're like, honey, Seth Rollins as Universal Champion just leaves me feeling uninspired. Guys, don't let Monday Night Raw leave you SAWFT, soft. Get Blue Chew. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know that they will work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises, man. Just like the Fiend. He'll arise at any time you take Blue Chew, man. You're gonna be the Fiend in bed. Believe me. Now, this just isn't for guys who can't perform. It's for anyone who wants an extra going into bed, man. That extra function to enhance your performance in the bedroom. Blue Chew is prescribed online and it ships straight to your door in a very discreet package. So no in-person doctor visits. The mailman's not going to know what you got delivered to the door. No waiting in the pharmacy. And best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we got a special deal for all our listeners right here on Off the Script for Monday Night Raw. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code JD. All you guys have to do is pay the $5 shipping, man. You guys want to be the Fiend in bed? You better use Blue Chew, man. BlueChew.com/JD. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code JD at checkout. Try it for free and tell them Off the Script and JD sent you for BlueChew.com. Monday Night Raw started off tonight, man, in Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee. Oh, Mary Jane, we gotta go get the cows and the sheep. What do you guys do for fun in Knoxville, Tennessee, man? Seriously. What do you do for fun in Knoxville, Tennessee? If I lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, I'd be drunk 7 days a week. Holy shit. Anyway, started off Monday Night Raw with Seth Rollins. I gotta talk about Seth Rollins here quick, because I know I failed to mention this on the Clash of Champions review. Rollins is definitely one of the best wrestlers in the world. I wouldn't say he's the best, like he thinks he is. I wouldn't even put him in the top 10. He's not even the best wrestler on his brand. He's not even the best wrestler in the WWE. So I don't know why he gets off saying, oh, I'm the best in the world. No, you're not. No, you're not. But that's neither here or there. That's a very topical discussion. But I gotta give him his credit, man. Even though he is a failure as a Universal Champion, because the guy's not over at all. The guy is the new Roman Reigns, believe it or not. Roman's looking a lot better standing next to Seth Rollins these days. But with the match that happened last night at Clash of Champions for the Universal Championship against Braun Strowman, that was the best match that Braun Strowman has ever had in WWE. Even better than the match with Brock Lesnar. I didn't think that match was good at all. This was the best match that Braun Strowman had in his entire WWE run so far. And you got to give Seth Rollins a lot of credit, because that's a very difficult thing to do, because Braun Strowman can't wrestle himself out of a fucking plastic bag. He's not good at all. The guy has been nothing more than a walking gimmick. Every match he's been in, 98% of his matches have been gimmick matches with some cheesy stipulation, because the guy can't wrestle. But Seth Rollins brought him to the best match of his life on Sunday night, and you got to give Seth Rollins credit. Now, I also read that Paul Heyman produced that match, and that had Paul Heyman DNA all over it, and I could actually see that, because that match was booked very similar to what we would see out of a Brock Lesnar match with someone the size of Seth Rollins. So I got to give everybody credit that was involved with that. Heyman, Rollins, Strowman. It was a very good Universal Championship match. It exceeded my very low expectations, and I'm just glad it's over. Now, the only thing that WWE has to do is get the title off of Rollins, put it on the Fiend, and figure out what they're going to do with Braun Strowman, because the guy right now is absolutely dead in the water. He is nothing more than he's another fucking giant without any direction. He's nothing more than a novelty act walking around with no direction. So we'll see what happens there. But Monday Night Raw opened up with Seth Rollins, and he had a run-in with the Fiend, as we all know, at the Clash of Champions at the end of the pay-per-view. It looked like something out of a biblical tale, the way you've seen the photographs. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. There were some creepy-looking images, man. It looked like something straight out of the Bible, which I am sure is done on purpose, with the imagery with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend being very satanic. And Rollins looked like he was slumped over like Jesus Christ hanging on the cross. It was very eerie, man. It looked great for what they're trying to sell for Hell in a Cell, but it looked really fucking eerie. So Rollins is in the ring, and he is going off about Braun and him losing the Raw Tag Team titles. He says he's not happy about it, but they lost as a team. Said they had to move on quickly because they had to face each other later on in the night for the Universal Championship. Said Braun is a very large and very strong man and gave him the fight of his life. He gave him mad props, is what he said. He thanked Hunter when he mentioned the pedigree that helped finish off Braun Strowman. So he said he's happy the rematch is not happening anytime soon. In fact, the rematch should not even be a thing because Braun Strowman statistically has had 6 Universal Championship matches, and in every instance he's lost every single opportunity he's had for the Universal Championship, man. That title has been a curse for Braun Strowman. A move to SmackDown Live in the draft? I think so. There's really nothing else for him to do on Monday Night Raw. He said he didn't even have time to celebrate before he was cloaked in darkness and taken down. Fans started to chant in Knoxville, Tennessee, which I'm sure took a lot of brain power for these people. They started chanting, "Yowie Wowie," and Seth Rollins said, yes, Yowie Wowie indeed. Said the last thing he saw before losing consciousness was the face of the Fiend. He said when he came to, Bray was nowhere to be found. Said in less than 3 weeks, he gets to go one-on-one with Bray inside Hell in a Cell. And then the Firefly Funhouse came on the Titantron. Bray appeared on the screen. He was waving at Seth like a cheese ball. He said hi to everybody and all the Fireflies. He said it's his future best friend, Seth Rollins. Hear the kids cheering in the background. The kids on the Firefly Funhouse were louder than the people in the arena tonight in Knoxville, Tennessee. Says he's glad Seth is there and he's super glad he's okay. Seth says then in return that Bray Wyatt is a sick individual. Rambling Rabbit then told Seth to run. Bray then pounded on the desk for Rambling Rabbit to shut the hell up. And Rambling Rabbit ran away. I wish I could run away every time Monday Night Raw comes on the USA Network at 8 p.m. Rambling Rabbit has the right idea. I think we should all follow suit. Bray says mistakes happen. He said Seth has made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, you ain't kidding. This entire show's a fucking mistake. But people forgave him. Friends forgive, he said. Then Bray Wyatt turned his tone from all playful and cheerful to evil. But he never forgets. So maybe that's why he said hello at Clash of Champions. Says he might even have more to say to him tonight. And then he looked directly into the camera, and we started to get this weird ambiance, this weird trance with the Fiend. You start to see the Fiend mask, and then you see Bray Wyatt, Mr. Rogers-esque, back and forth. He broke into laughter and said, "See you in hell! See you in hell." Vince McMahon's already in fucking hell. And then that was it. Seth looked around. I love this segment. This was awesome. Now, Knoxville was awful all night, but there was not one peep from that crowd when Bray Wyatt was speaking. There was not one peep all night, but I want to think that everybody in attendance there was hanging on to every word Bray Wyatt was saying, because I know we were at home. I know everybody put their phones down. We were glued to the television. Bray Wyatt's interaction through the funhouse on his opponents is so great. It's actually brilliant. And I love the fact that he goes in and out. He is himself, and he is talking as himself, and he's then kind of speaking on behalf of the Fiend. And then Seth Rollins in this moment was looking around confused, and he genuinely had just this face of fear. Like, he didn't know what the hell's going on. He don't know what to expect. He's downright afraid of what is to come inside Hell in a Cell with the Universal Championship being on the line with this guy. So I think the body language and the reaction from Seth Rollins mixed with just Bray Wyatt being a brilliant character with his Mr. Rogers / Fiend going back and forth. I think this is fucking awesome. This is absolutely awesome. And again, I knew this was going to happen before the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. with Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins being announced for the Universal Championship, there was no way that title was even a thought on Braun Strowman. And then the arena for the Hell in a Cell, the arena that the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is taking place in, leaked the early image or the early plans, I would say, for the Universal title with Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins. And at that point, we all kind of thought, well, this is an inevitability. There's no way that Bray Wyatt's going into a Universal Championship match and losing. So, I love the fact that Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins is happening now. Some people might think it's too soon. I don't think it's too soon at all. I think it's the right time. Because more times than not, this company does not strike when the iron is hot. They are right now scorching white hot with Bray Wyatt. He's the best thing on television. He's the one guy that people want to see most out of everybody else. Mixed with Bray Wyatt being so hot, Seth Rollins at the same time is an utter failure on this brand as Universal Champion. There's no better time to take this title off of him. And it makes everything that they did with Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar leading into SummerSlam a complete waste of time. Because I don't think that they even knew Bray Wyatt was going to catch on this hot. And it's hard to believe, but I don't think this company really knew what they had in Bray Wyatt and knew that it was going to get to this point. Now they're looking back at that shit and be like, everything we did with Seth Rollins was a complete waste of time, because that's the way I feel about it. Give the title to Bray Wyatt. I think the title on Bray Wyatt, having him hold it till WrestleMania, having him go on a Kane-like WWE Universal Championship title reign of terror is the right way to go about it. Leading to WrestleMania, have him be undefeated, and then whoever they deem worthy enough to finally put the Fiend down, that's going to be a WrestleMania moment. You need to start planting the seeds for that WrestleMania moment now, because you got it right there in Bray Wyatt. Hopefully they don't mess this all up. So, Charlie Caruso, speaking of Braun Strowman, Charlie Caruso approached Braun Strowman in the back and asked what he has planned tonight on Monday Night Raw. He said the next man who steps foot in the ring is going to get these hands, and then he walked to the ring. Then we see Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler come out with their newly won Raw Tag Team titles, and the Revival come out to the ring. So we got both sets of Tag Team Champions in the ring. Now, I know I'm not the only one who was thinking this. I was looking at this segment, and I'm like, man, I'd love to see these two teams go into battle here and crown a unified Tag Team Champions, because the Revival are a Raw Tag Team holding the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, and Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are a tag team that nobody ever asked for. So I would love to see a unification of Tag Team Champions here in WWE, but that is a fantasy in my head. That's never going to happen. And then out comes Braun Strowman. We were supposed to have a Tag Team Summit. Bobby Roode says, take a hard look at greatness. Then all of a sudden, Braun's music hits. He makes his way to the ring. The Revival had some balls on them. The Revival tried to attack him at ringside. He easily just shoulder tackled them. He popped Dawson in the face. Roode bailed like the brilliant Bobby Roode that he is. He ran away. Ziggler was knocked down. He got run over by Braun Strowman. And that was pretty much it. Dawson, Dash, Ziggler all got destroyed. Bobby Roode was the only one smart enough to run away. Why would you have both sets of Tag Team Champions in the ring and then have Braun Strowman come out and lay waste to Bobby Roode? Well, not really Bobby Roode, he ran away. Dolph Ziggler, might as well lump him into that. Anyway, embarrassed. Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler, Dash Wilder, and Scott Dawson. Why would you treat your Tag Team Champions like this with Braun Strowman beating up everybody in the ring? Do you not have any value for the Tag Team Championships? Do you not have any value for the Tag Team division? Meanwhile, I hope you all know that AEW is set to debut October 2nd with a fucking Tag Team tournament taking place October 9th with the Bucks versus Private Party. The Tag Team tournament to crown AEW Tag Team Champions is going to be the best tournament of the year. And I don't understand why WWE is not on board with Tag Team Wrestling. This was an absolute fucking embarrassment. I hate this show for reasons like this. Absolutely unnecessary. And you know what? The shitty thing is, this is the only time we've seen Braun Strowman all night. That's the best you have for Braun Strowman. If that was the best you had for Braun Strowman, you might as well have left him off the fucking show. What a joke. Get with the fucking program and get your tag team division where it needs to be. Tired of this shit. Every single week. This is like the 6th time this year that Braun Strowman has destroyed the tag team division by himself. Fucking Christ. Alexa Bliss and Nicky Cross backstage drinking coffee. That's the only fucking thing they do good and do right in WWE. Alexa Bliss can't botch drinking coffee. They talked about Sasha and Bayley trashing things that they don't care about. Might as well trash your fucking wrestling skills, Miss Bliss. They bonded over their strong friendship. Yeah. I wish I could say the same about your tag team title reign, which is absolutely worthless at this point in time. The OC made their way to the ring. They were about to enter a 6-man tag with Cedric Alexander and the Viking Raiders. It's good to see Ivar and Eric get some rub on this show. OC wins in 9 minutes. Cedric got some early offense in on Styles. And then the Viking Raiders got some time to shine against the OC. We got to see Ivar and Eric do their thing, which is all I ever wanted since their debut on Monday Night Raw following WrestleMania. Took them about fucking 6 months. It's nice to see, man. Tag team wrestling. Legit teams. Now get them in the ring with Ziggler and Roode. Cedric Alexander. I mentioned this on the Clash of Champions review last night. A 5-minute match with AJ Styles. It was as good as a 5-minute match could be. Could it have went longer? Absolutely. They could have went 20 minutes, and they could have tore the house down at Clash of Champions. Could it have been on the main show instead of the pre-show? Yes, absolutely. These are things that I agree with you on. But for some weird reason, I might have some fucking fever. I don't know. For some weird reason, I have this sense of optimism. And I'm a pessimist. I really am. I have this sense of optimism that Cedric Alexander is going to get pushed into a United States Championship title reign. That he's going to get his revenge on AJ Styles, and it's going to be a thing of beauty. Now, there were reports of Cedric being slow built, or built slowly, because Paul Heyman wants to do the slow burn on his rise to the top. That Cedric Alexander is going to be one of the future pieces of Monday Night Raw as long as he is the executive director of Monday Night Raw. He got buried at Clash of Champions. He lost. He looked good, but he lost, and then got a 3-on-1 beatdown at the end of the show as AJ Styles stood over him with the United States Championship. So I'm like, all right. This feud came about in 1 week. Nothing to worry about here. AJ took the pin from Cedric in Madison Square Garden. Cedric got to share a beer and toast a beer with Steve Austin. Not all that bad. It's not all doom and gloom yet. Then we get to Clash. He loses. Monday Night Raw, I'm thinking, well, he'll probably get his revenge here tonight somewhat. He'll be treated a little bit better on this show. Cedric gave Carl Anderson a handspring back elbow. Styles blind tagged in. Hit Cedric with a phenomenal forearm. He sold it. He flipped through. Nailed him. 1, 2, 3. And AJ Styles pins Cedric again on Monday Night Raw. Now, after the match was over, Styles stomped away on Cedric. The Raiders came in and tried to make the save. Ivar ended up leaving the top rope. He absolutely splatted on the floor on the outside. He did a tope off the top rope to the floor. He took everybody out. He missed everybody and landed hard. He actually took himself out instead of everybody else. That's pretty much what happened there. So Cedric was trying to get his revenge on Styles while all this was happening. It looked like Cedric was going to get the post-match attack on AJ after AJ just pinned him with the phenomenal forearm. So they're on the top rope. Cedric knocked him off balance. AJ is seated on the top turnbuckle. He then mounted, started punching away, and then all of a sudden, Cedric went for a top rope Hurricane Rana. AJ caught him and turned it into a super Styles Clash off the second rope and delivered that to Cedric Alexander, and that was it. I'm loving the interaction between Cedric and AJ. I'm loving this a lot more than what AJ did with Ricochet, and that is just unreal. How you have Ricochet and AJ Styles feud over the United States Championship, and their matches ended up being boring. How is that even a thing? Cedric and AJ have been all high octane since this feud started. But Cedric lost at Clash of Champions. He got beat down again. He got pinned here. He got the beat down after the match and then took a Styles Clash. I want to remain optimistic. I really do. I want to hope that AJ Styles is going to drop the title eventually when all is said and done to Cedric Alexander. But how long is this push going to last before Vince McMahon says, you know what, I'm pulling the plug on Cedric Alexander. I don't want him mingling with AJ Styles anymore. I don't think he's going to be the United States champion. Some people are telling me this is all part of the storyline. I hope. I seriously hope so. I hope you're right. But I don't know why any of you would trust Vince McMahon to continue a push on somebody that's been off TV for a better portion of 4 months. And now, all of a sudden, within the last month and a half, he's been used a little bit. He's been given somewhat of a priority on this show. King of the Ring was the start of it. Now he's feuding with the United States champion. You know? Do you trust Vince McMahon? Because I certainly don't. I don't. I will never trust Vince McMahon. So I hope that everybody is like, JD, don't worry. It's all part of the story. We'll see. But I would not be surprised either if Vince McMahon pulls the entire plug on this and moves AJ over to Rey Mysterio. Just saying. Truth and Carmella, I don't know why this 24/7 title shit is still around. I swear to God, if I had a magic lamp, seriously, if I had a magic lamp, instead of giving myself multi-millions and fucking 40 virgins, right? I would abolish the 24/7 championship. That would be one of my 3 wishes. Seriously. My first wish would be to abolish the 24/7 championship and make believe it never even existed. So we got Truth and Carmella chatting about how great athletes, or how great the athletes are at the University of Kentucky. And then in walks Glenn Jacobs. Truth talked to him for a little bit. Don't I know you? Says R-Truth. He suggested that he's Magic Johnson or Larry Bird shooting the threes. Jacobs introduced himself as Mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs. Glenn offered him a tour of Knoxville, Tennessee. And Truth thought he was the President of the United States and said that it would be cool to get a presidential ride. He then asked if he had any Secret Service members with him. Glenn said no. And that was pretty much it. Carmella seemed concerned and did not trust Glenn Jacobs as he walked off with R-Truth. Baron Corbin and Chad Gable, King of the Ring, finals. This was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, looking back at what we seen, I would say in the last week, I know I seen it. I know I'm not hallucinating. I know WWE had announced that the King of the Ring finals were going to take place at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. And I thought that was a perfect scene for it to happen. Clash of Champions, you're going to crown the King of the Ring. I think it's going to be great. Then WWE announced last week that it was going to take place on Monday Night Raw, which we didn't really understand. But I kind of understood because they wanted something to kind of, I guess, gravitate towards the fans and take away their attention from the NFL. Now, I don't know what game was on tonight. I think the Jets played. Who gives a shit? The Jets are garbage. So they wanted something to keep the fans interested on Monday nights during Monday Night Football. So I kind of understood it. But then I'm looking back at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view and how everything transpired. A lot of the matches were short. You know, the Universal Championship match was only about 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Charlotte and Bayley went 4 minutes. Cedric and AJ went less than 5 minutes. So we got a lot of matches on that show that really didn't go over 10 minutes. You know, with some of them being under 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And then I'm thinking, if the the King of the Ring, you know, took place at the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, then it might have been subjected to 10 minutes or so, or less than that. And I didn't want that for the finals. The finals of the King of the Ring tournament should not be anything less than what we got here tonight. So I'm actually glad we got this on Monday Night Raw. I love tournaments. Everybody knows watching me how I love tournaments. I love the Mae Young Classic. I love the NXT Breakout Tournament this year. I love the Cruiserweight Classic. I love the UK tournaments. I love the tournaments. I really do. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I love it all, man. I could watch a tournament all day long. I think a tournament is a great way to build someone up and make them credible on TV. King of the Ring 1993 is one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time. It may very well be my favorite pay-per-view ever, outside of the ECW One Night Stand pay-per-view in 2006 with RVD and John Cena inside the Hammerstein Ballroom. Best crowd of all time. But the King of the Ring tournament this year was so well done, outside of a few hiccups because Vince McMahon can't help himself. The triple threat match with Ricochet, Corbin, and Samoa Joe. Yeah, it ended up being a decent match, but there's no reason to muddy everything up. It's a fucking simple concept that should be winners advance, losers go home. Then we got the whole Chad Gable thing with Shane McMahon, which was kind of cheesy, which led to Kevin Owens being fired. Whatever. We are here tonight with the finals, Baron Corbin and Chad Gable. I know a lot of people shit on Baron Corbin, me included. Me included. And I am not afraid to admit I am wrong, but one of the best things about watching a tournament is to see how well someone does inside said tournament. Baron Corbin had to wrestle 4 times in this tournament. And every single time, maybe outside the match with The Miz, I don't think that was really memorable whatsoever. But everything after that, the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and then tonight, Baron Corbin, I wouldn't say has completely won me over, but Baron Corbin has honestly made me change my mind on him. I used to think he had go-away heat. In some ways, I still do think he has go-away heat. But with what he did in this tournament, you gotta respect what he has done. You gotta respect how well he has performed in this tournament, and the tournament worked out for Baron Corbin. He ended up being a better performer for it. Because he was in there with Ricochet. He was in there with Samoa Joe. He was in there with Cedric. He was in there with Chad Gable. All different types of styles and guys that could legitimately wrestle. Baron Corbin stood with every single one of them and did not look out of place. He looked fucking great in this entire tournament. Chad Gable was somebody that I wanted to win more so than Baron Corbin. I knew WWE was not going to go with Chad Gable. There's no reason for WWE to go with Chad Gable because Baron Corbin, just based on what we've seen this summer, is a favorite of Vince McMahon's. With all the reports of how Vince McMahon looks at Baron Corbin and wants to make him one of the biggest stars in the company and how he thinks all the women swoon over him, that all might be true. But we all know that Baron Corbin is definitely a favorite of Vince McMahon. This tournament was definitely going to Baron Corbin before this match was even given the green light tonight. We all knew that. And I'm here to tell you that even though we all wanted Chad Gable to win, Chad Gable didn't look out of place. Chad Gable didn't look like a loser tonight. But with Baron Corbin winning this match, he actually looked like he should win this entire tournament. Baron Corbin tonight, a lot of people didn't want him to win. I don't think anybody after tonight has a problem with Baron Corbin calling himself King of the Ring. Me included. You got to give the man his due. You got to give him his props. Tournament made him. That's exactly what I looked for out of a tournament. It succeeded. Baron Corbin lasted throughout this entire tournament. 16 men. And that was it. You can't say anything bad about it. And I don't think anybody should. Because he definitely opened up a lot of eyes. Baron Corbin and Chad Gable went 19 minutes. Gable took a beating in this match. They were really egging it on for that big babyface comeback. Most of this match, I would say 80% of this match was all Corbin. And then they tried to get Gable back into this thing, trying to pull out a victory. And it was just awesome, man. So he got a deep 6 on Gable, did Corbin. Corbin caught Gable with a deep 6 for a near fall. Gable came back with a rolling German suplex into a bridge for a believable, and I thought that could have been it, near fall. Gable climbed the top rope, went for his moonsault. Corbin moved. Gable landed on his feet. Gable then swept Corbin into another ankle lock. Corbin was in pain. I thought this was going to be it. Gable was going to make Corbin tap. Corbin then got to the bottom rope. So we got Corbin reaching the bottom rope. He fended off Gable. Gable tried to throw a bunch of elbows at him. And then all of a sudden, I believe it was an ending. I think they were in the first Dusty Classic. I think it was the same ending that they went for in the Dusty Classic when he was teaming with Rhino. That tilt-a-whirl into the end of days, he absolutely planted Chad Gable with the end of days. Nobody kicks out. I love the fact that WWE has kept the end of days. One of the many finishes in WWE. One of the many finishes in WWE that should be, that's it. That kept it as no one has kicked out of it. So I love the fact that nobody has ever kicked out of the end of days. It's one of those RKO-like moves. He ended Gable with the end of days, 1, 2, 3, and that was it. This was awesome. This was awesome. So Corbin walked up the stage. He looked at the throne. And then they went to commercial. And I'm asking myself, where's the coronation? Where's the speech? Why aren't we getting this? This is a 3-hour fucking show, and we're not getting Baron Corbin speaking as King of the Ring. Nobody crowned him king. Nobody gave him the crown. Nobody gave him the scepter. Nobody put the cape on him. You got 3 hours to fill. Yeah, we got fucking Maria Kanellis and a gender reveal for the fucking baby. I hate this shit, man. I really do. That should have been something that went along with how great this match was. They're saving it for SmackDown Live. Baron Corbin is not even a SmackDown Live superstar. He's a Raw guy. Why this didn't happen on Monday Night Raw? Save the SmackDown shit for the SmackDown guys. Simple. Now, I do have some concerns about this. Chad Gable clearly showed you why WWE should be using him. I don't give a shit what they do from this point on. That man needs to be on TV. If Chad Gable is not on TV moving forward, then WWE are, they're out of their minds. Baron Corbin, he's the king of the ring. What does he get? He gets a crown, he gets a scepter, he gets a cape, he gets the throne. He gets to call himself king of the ring for the next 12 months until he's in the tournament next year, hopefully, and he's got to defend his crown. Hopefully this is a yearly thing. It should be. But what does he get? Is he the number one contender for the Universal Championship? He's the number one contender for the WWE Championship? Maybe he's the next in line to challenge Kofi Kingston. Maybe that's why they're doing it on SmackDown Live. I don't know. And at that point, you know what? If that is the case, I would not be opposed to that at all. And it's funny how our opinions are now changing. Baron Corbin challenging for the Universal Championship, everybody was like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Now, if he's going to SmackDown Live to be crowned king and his coronation's happening on SmackDown Live, he may very well be the next in line to challenge Kofi Kingston. What does he get? He's got to get something. Normally, the king of the ring is the number one contender for your championship of choice. Maybe that's why they're doing it on SmackDown Live. I can only hope. And again, I would not mind if he is the one to take the title off of Kofi Kingston. I'd much rather Baron Corbin, the WWE champion, than Kofi Kingston. He's proved he deserves it. He's not bad in the ring at all. He clearly shows you that in this tournament. So why not? Give him a run with the championship. WWE could use a damn good heel at the top of the mountain in WWE. Baron Corbin, I think, fits the bill. So let's see what happens on SmackDown Live. Excellent match. Excellent way to end the King of the Ring. I hope they bring it back next year. It needs to be a staple yearly on WWE TV. Baron Corbin should be in the tournament next year again, and he has to defend his crown. I hope it happens. Mike and Maria gender reveal party hosted by the Street Profits. I hate the fucking Street Profits on Monday Night Raw. I love them in NXT, but they are so garbage on this show. They need to be in the ring and away from this cringe-like garbage. Maria entered the gender reveal. Titus went all out, paid for an entire gender reveal catering party. Maria entered and said, finally she can reveal the gender of the baby. It's a boy! It's a boy. Mike was happy. Maria said they all know who the real father is. Then she looked over at Ricochet and said, the father of the baby is Ricochet. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Why? This is what you're doing with Ricochet on Monday Night Raw. And supposedly Ricochet is a Paul Heyman guy. This is what they're doing with him. I said on Twitter, Ricochet has given you classics in NXT with Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, the War Raiders with Aleister Black, Velveteen Dream. And here we are. Here we are. Ricochet is in this cheesy fucking segment with Mike and Maria Kanellis. Why? Why? How do you go from that to this? Again, if this was the best you had for Ricochet on this night, you might as well have left him off the show. I don't know why you couldn't be a Heath Slater. He's got the fucking 6 kids. Why not add a 7th? I don't understand. It's got to be Ricochet. So then, Mike Kanellis is all unhappy. He's all pissed. Meet me in the ring. Titus got in his face and said, go fix that. Heath Slater, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins were all among these people at the party. Angelo Dawkins says, dog, I thought she was going to say I was the father of the baby. Montez Ford then brought up a baby on a pole match. God almighty, whoever wrote this shit and produced this segment, please just go away. Get this shit off television. So, Angelo suggested Maria on a pole. I'm sure she'll go right back to doing that after the baby is born. Ford says that's what got them into this situation to begin with, and everybody all laughed. So we got Mike Kanellis versus Ricochet. This match went 2 minutes, and that was it. Ricochet beat him with a recoil. And all this was more emasculation of Mike Kanellis. They treated him like the biggest fucking loser that anybody could possibly treat somebody. Seriously, I hope you are happy, Mr. Mike Kanellis. You are now signed for the WWE, with the WWE for 5 years. I hope that money is absolutely worth every single fucking ounce of embarrassment. Because you're a fool. Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis, they are absolute fucking fools. I would never sell my soul and my dignity for this shit. This is absolutely god-awful. In a fucking time when they should take everything going on right now serious. With AEW coming into the fold in just 2 weeks, this is the shit that we're seeing. WWE should be fucking ashamed of themselves. And I don't want to hear from everybody, oh, this is just good fun. This is good entertainment. This was a good show. This shit doesn't belong on our fucking televisions. Doesn't belong on our televisions. I'm sorry. I want some seriousness out of my fucking wrestling program because I know what's coming on October 2nd. I want you to mirror what you're going to see on October 2nd. You're going to see serious fucking wrestling. I don't give a fuck about Maria's baby. I don't give a fuck about Mike Kanellis. I don't give a shit about any of this. Get Ricochet in a fucking major title program. Start booking him the way that he started to get booked in NXT. Fucking joke. What a joke. Then you wonder why WWE can't have or create new stars. Look. You got one of the best wrestlers on the fucking planet, and you got him in the ring with Mike Kanellis, and you're joking around that he's the baby's father. So we got Mike Kanellis losing to Ricochet. Mike Kanellis was sitting on the ring apron. Maria came out, degrading him again. She asked what it would take to motivate him, so she did it to motivate him. What would have motivated him is if he left WWE. Obviously, Ricochet's not the father. I thought maybe if I humiliated you and embarrassed you, you would be man enough to defend my unborn child's honor. But I was wrong. She said maybe she'll reveal the real father now. The father is... ... The real father of my unborn child is... And she was interrupted by Rusev. Who's married to Lana. Lana, who was not mentioned in this entire situation. Rusev comes out. He looked fantastic. He had an 80s porn star stash, but he looked absolutely fantastic. You can see that the guy clearly wants to be back on television just by the way he has made himself look. He looks in the best I've ever seen him the best shape I've ever seen him. So he came out, and everybody said on commentary that we have not seen him in a number of months. And he entered the ring, 15 seconds, Machka kick to the face, and that was it. That was it. This is what they do for Rusev. This is how they bring Rusev back to television after he's been off television for so many months. For so many months. This is how you bring him back. Again, if you didn't have anything planned for him, why bring him back now and not bring him back on October 14th when you have the fucking draft? I don't get it. WWE wasted this guy's return, and they put him in this bullshit storyline along with Maria and Mike and Ricochet, and just made him a part of the embarrassment. Why this shit is on our television, I don't fucking know. They went away from it for about a month, and now all of a sudden you want to come back to it. This is how you go about booking Monday Night. I guess it was an easy night. You all went out and partied after Clash of Champions, right? So you took the easy way out and booked this shit so you could fill 2 or 3 different segments on this show. Awful. Absolutely awful. Rey Mysterio, they hyped him up. He was going to be in action tonight. Another video of Glenn Jacobs giving R-Truth a tour of the University of Kentucky. Jacobs was inside the stadium of the University of Kentucky. Jacobs introduced Truth to a police officer who apparently was a referee. Truth asked if he was a regular cop or a robo-cop. Jacobs says he's not actually a policeman, though. He's a referee. So Truth says he had another engagement and tried to run away. He ran into the goalpost, knocked himself out. Glenn Jacobs made the cover, and Glenn Jacobs pinned R-Truth to become the 24/7 champion, and then he ran away with the title and yelled, "I still got it. I still got it." I don't understand, again, this is Monday Night Raw, and then I seen people on Twitter saying that this Monday Night Raw was lit. I wish I could light this show on fucking fire. What was lit? You fucking idiot. What was lit? I'd light this show on fire and I wouldn't piss on the fucking flames. I'd sit there with my sunglasses on to fucking shade me from the fucking light, and I'd sip my cold beverage and laugh. This show fucking sucks. This show was awful. Absolutely awful. Go ahead. Keep booking this shit with AEW coming on October 2nd. Go ahead. When NXT ends up being the number 1 fucking show, then I want to start seeing this show get better. Unbelievable. Rey Mysterio versus Cesaro. This went 12 minutes. I was bored by this. I don't know why everybody thought this was good. Nobody gave a shit. Cesaro apparently has a problem with Rey Mysterio and his son for no goddamn reason. Why? Why was Cesaro in fucking sweats and not his wrestling gear? Is this his new gimmick now? Just going into the fucking ring feeling lazy? Like he's lounging around on a Sunday afternoon? This is how much Cesaro doesn't care now. He's coming to work in his fucking pajamas. 12 minutes. 619, followed by the big splash. Cesaro caught Rey, but Rey countered with a code red for the win. There you go. Firefly Funhouse. He pounded on a wall behind him. Nailed to the wall was pictures. He hung pictures with Mick Foley and Kurt Angle and Jerry the King Lawler and everybody else that he has taken out. And their eyes were crossed out. Creepy. Then he hung a picture of Seth Rollins with his eyes crossed out. Meaning that Seth Rollins is going to be the next victim of the Fiend. So that was pretty much that. They went over the draft for October 14th and October 11th on SmackDown and Raw, respectively. Cole said there will be no more wild card rule once the draft takes place. Thank fucking Christ somebody up there listened to my fucking prayers at night. Holy shit. Yeah, Vince McMahon's a genius. That's why you're getting rid of the fucking thing. So, AOP, remember them? I don't. Authors of Pain. Let's talk about the Authors of Pain. Why they're back, I don't know. It's not like WWE has done anything with the tag team division since they've been gone. So what are they walking into? They're walking into yet another disaster. AOP, Akam and Razor, they speak. They speak. They've said they fought for a living their entire lives, but in MMA, and now in WWE, nobody wants to fight them. They said tag teams in WWE are too, I would say, scared, soft. None of you are men. None of you are hard enough to fight us. Well, you would be hard enough if you took BlueChew.com, use code JD at checkout. None of you have the heart to fight us. I don't have the heart to watch this fucking show on Monday night. None of you have the manhood to step up to us. They vowed to be the future of the tag team division. What tag team division? What tag team division? There is no division. The division was fucking obliterated by Braun Strowman about an hour and a half ago. And the future will be written in pain. This show was written in fucking pain. Pain and suffering. Listen. I don't mind AOP coming back, but what are they walking into? It looks like WWE is shedding their vests and shedding their riot gear. And it looks like they're going for more of a mafia-style AOP, which could be good. I wouldn't mind them cutting more promos like this, going over who they don't like and what they're going to be about. Just in these mafia-like suits. Maybe add a couple of fucking cigars. Maybe have them sitting down in a restaurant going all Godfather-like, you know? Could work. It's a different look for them. Will they succeed? Probably not. Will Vince McMahon give up on them in 3 weeks? Probably. Just like he did the War Raiders. So we'll see what happens with AOP, man. They're walking into a non-existent tag team division. So, you know, whatever they say, it sounds good. But in reality, when they get to TV, A, no one's going to give a shit. And B, there is no division for them to destroy. Because WWE has already destroyed it. Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. This was the greatest Alexa Bliss match that I think I've ever watched. She was taken out of the match around 3 minutes. She disappeared. She should do that more often. Because every match that does not include her is her best match ever. She's awful. So she left it, and they've done this many times before, and they did it tonight. Very calculated and on purpose. Nikki Cross was pretty much in a handicap match with Bayley and Sasha Banks. This one went 12 minutes. Nikki tapped to a bank statement. JD's Alexa Bliss hurt? No, Alexa Bliss is not hurt. The reason why Alexa Bliss was taken out of this match and Nikki Cross had to fight a 2-on-1 situation with both Sasha Banks and Bayley is because they needed Sasha Banks and Bayley to win, and Nikki Cross clearly was the one to be pinned in this situation. They didn't want Alexa Bliss anywhere near a loss on Monday Night Raw. So what they do, they faked an injury. They had her carried away to the back so she wouldn't factor into the loss in any way, shape, or form. You following me? Yeah, I hope so. Then I'm going to have some Alexa Bliss fucking geek on social media cursing me out. Oh, JD doesn't like Alexa Bliss. Who hurt him in the past? Blah, 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 blah. She is awful. Absolutely awful. They took her out of the match so she was nowhere near a loss. Because there was only one outcome here. Sasha cannot lose in any situation on TV now that she's back on TV. Very simple. And if you don't get that, it's not my fucking problem. So after the match, Sasha threw a chair in the ring. Cole says this has been her MO. Becky Lynch came out, chair in hand, wearing the man t-shirt. Because Ric Flair apparently is suing WWE, but she don't give a shit. Over the man catchphrase. They went into a segment with dueling chairs. Sasha and Becky. Clashing of chairs like they were in some fucking medieval battle. Then they started swinging the chairs and missing. I don't know what they were going for, but my God, this looked terrible. And I mean that wholeheartedly. This looked so forced. You might as well not have even done it if it was going to come out this bad. It looks like they didn't even rehearse this shit. Like, I understand what you're going for, but my God, make it fucking believable. Becky swinging the chair in the wrong way. Sasha Banks is swinging the chair in the wrong way. I don't know what they're aiming for. It's like she chased the fucking Mariano Rivera 99-mile-an-hour fastball out of the fucking strike zone. The fuck are they going for? This looked terrible. It looked terrible. Then out comes Charlotte. She fucking robots herself down to the ring. She boots Bayley, who had a steel chair. Steel chair gets knocked out of Bayley's hand. And then Charlotte enters the ring with the chair. And Sasha and Bayley get steel chairs swung across their back. And that was it. That was it. Sasha and Bayley retreated. And they tried to recover at ringside. So I guess Charlotte's a babyface now. I guess Charlotte is a babyface. Or maybe just a babyface in Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't want babyface Charlotte. I really don't. I don't like Charlotte as a heel right now on TV. I think she's fucking awful. And now you're going to give me Charlotte as a babyface? Nobody's going to accept that. Please, don't make Charlotte into a babyface. Please. This was terrible. None of these women, in that instance, I know Sasha can swing a steel chair. I know Bayley can swing a steel chair. I know Becky can swing a steel chair. But whatever they did here, man, none of these women should ever engage in dueling medieval fucking battles with steel chairs. This was terrible. It looked so ridiculous. Moving on. Truth, again, I don't believe how many segments we got with the Maria and Mike Kanellis shit and then the fucking 24/7. I don't believe this show. I don't believe this show. Truth was lying on the top of the limo. So, I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he rode to the fucking venue on top of the limo. He was just laying on top of the limo. The limousine driver seen him laying up there. R-Truth was like, shh. So, Glenn Jacobs comes out of the limo with the 24/7 title. And R-Truth sneaks up behind him and rolls him up for a 3 count. And he wins the title back. What is this, like a 19-time reign? Jacobs grabbed him by the throat. He was about to choke slam him. I wish he would have. Truth called for a truce. Jacobs agreed to it. Truth says they should go enjoy the show. So there you go. Backstage, Becky said Sasha knew she was concerned in their cat and mouse game and then complained about her using the chair. Becky said her focus isn't on the $10,000 fine from Clash of Champions. Apparently, per storyline, Becky Lynch was fined for nailing a referee with the steel chair. But rather her challenge, she accepted Sasha's challenge because after that steel chair duel, if you want to call it that, Sasha said that she wants a rematch at Hell in a Cell. And if she's man enough to put the title on the line and accept my challenge, then she said, your move, bitch. So then Becky Lynch obviously retaliated and said, yeah, I accept your challenge, and it will be inside Hell in a Cell. So I'm actually looking forward to that. I love the match at Clash of Champions. Whatever they did here tonight was not good. And I'm looking forward to the match inside Hell in a Cell. These types of matches and these types of feuds are the reason why Hell in a Cell exists. Simple. I hate the fact that we get Hell in a Cell because it's fucking October and the word hell goes with the theme in October, which is Halloween. I hate that. I wish they would end all these gimmick pay-per-views, but I'm actually excited to see what these two women do inside Hell in a Cell. I'm sure it's going to end up being better than Sasha and Charlotte all those years ago. Lacey Evans versus Dana Brooke. Don't know why I'm seeing Dana Brooke on my television. This was a complete waste of everybody's time. Nobody gave a shit. Lacey wins in 8 minutes with a fucking sharpshooter. She tried to call out Natty, and she applied the sharpshooter on Dana Brooke, if you even want to call it that. It was like a half sharpshooter because Lacey Evans didn't even apply it correctly. She put her one knee on the mat. She didn't even do that right. Yet I'm supposed to believe Lacey Evans in the women's division. Sure thing. Seth Rollins and Robert Roode. This should have been a lot better than it was. It was not. The crowd was half the reason why this sucked. Seth wins via DQ. Seth started to make his comeback after Robert Roode got some offense in. He eventually landed the stomp on Robert Roode. Ziggler then came in and caused the DQ. Referee called for the bell. Seth tried to fight back against Roode and Ziggler. Out came the OC for whatever reason. At this point, I was just so over this show. I don't even know what the fucking OC has to do with Seth Rollins. Like, seriously. Yes, they took the tag team titles, him and Strowman, off the OC. You would figure that is all over and done with. Seriously. The OC should be concentrating on Roode and Ziggler. Don't they want the fucking titles back? But here they are all attacking and ganging up on Seth Rollins. Now, I seriously expected Braun Strowman to come out and save Seth Rollins. I knew we were going to see The Fiend because he said he was going to be back. I expected Braun Strowman to come out and maybe scare off everybody. Then I expected The Fiend to come on out. Then I expected Braun Strowman to join Bray Wyatt and become a part of the Firefly Funhouse. That's what I wished would have happened. I think that would have been a lot more of a memorable way to end their show, but we didn't get any of that. We got fucking Kane in 2000, and I don't believe I'm saying this. We got fucking Kane coming out in 2019, but I'm not gonna shit on this because it kind of plays into the storyline of Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, taking out all these legends. And I think one little attention to detail that I think a lot of people kind of overlooked on social media. Kane is the brother of The Undertaker. The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt have not had a confrontation yet. If Bray Wyatt is going to win the WWE Universal Championship, and I thought about this during the show and after this segment, if Kane was taken out tonight by Bray Wyatt, he chokeslammed, who was it? He chokeslammed Styles and Gallows, I think. Double chokeslam. He was about to do his fucking Hellfire and Brimstone, and then the lights started to go out, and Bray Wyatt showed up as the Fiend, and he gave Kane the mandible claw. Then at the end of the show, Bray Wyatt crawled over to Seth Rollins, who was laying in the corner, and the last thing that you see on Monday Night Raw was Bray Wyatt laughing in Seth Rollins' face. And that's the way the show went off the air. Then we got a prolonged Firefly Funhouse theme that was kind of grainy and staticky, and it was very eerie. It was being played in slow motion, and it was all, like, colored out. It went in and out on your TV. I was fucking hallucinating at this point. I thought the way that the show ended was really good. But with Kane being here tonight, yes, it is Knoxville, Tennessee. Yes, they got Glenn Jacobs to make a cameo appearance as Kane. Why not? He's a legend. He got the mandible claw. He's the brother of The Undertaker. We have not seen Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker yet, but I do think we are going to get that eventually. If Bray Wyatt beats Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, I would not have any problem because I just don't see Bray Wyatt battling a Kofi Kingston at Survivor Series. I don't give a shit about that. I really don't. If Bray Wyatt wins the Universal Championship, what if he defends the Universal Championship at Survivor Series against The Undertaker? Undertaker and Kane, clearly brothers. He took out Kane tonight, which is the brother of The Undertaker. Maybe The Undertaker takes, an issue with that. And isn't The Undertaker, how many years is it now that The Undertaker is celebrating, his WWE career? How many years would it be this year's Survivor Series? Wouldn't that be a great anniversary gift? Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker at Survivor Series? Undertaker is more... I always associated The Undertaker more with SmackDown Live anyway than I did Monday Night Raw. He could show up in any brand he wants. He could be a SmackDown superstar. He could get drafted to SmackDown. Come the draft. It's happening on the 11th. The Undertaker could be drafted to SmackDown Live. He could just challenge Bray Wyatt. We don't really need a Universal Championship versus WWE Championship match in Survivor Series. Kofi could go defend that against somebody else. What if we get The Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt at Survivor Series and celebrate whatever number year anniversary it is for The Undertaker? I wouldn't mind that at all. And then you have Bray Wyatt not only take out Kane tonight, but take out The Undertaker on his anniversary. Just get it out of the way. And then whoever else you want to build up for Bray Wyatt, have that happen at WrestleMania. Have Bray Wyatt remain undefeated all the way till WrestleMania. I could think of a few guys. Aleister Black is the first one that comes to mind. Imagine that, Aleister Black versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. Both men undefeated. I think that's great. Ponder that. Ponder that. So another legend falls to the Fiend. Seth Rollins is 3 weeks away from losing the Universal Championship. And let me know what you guys think about that Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt Fiend match at Survivor Series. See what happens, man. Thank you guys so very much. I'm getting out of here. If you enjoyed the podcast tonight, let me know down below. Hit that thumbs up. And I will see you all right back here tomorrow night for SmackDown Live. Check out my Clash of Champions review. Check out Off the Script from this past weekend, Saturday and Sunday's episode. Those are live on the channel right now. Make sure you guys go and follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Very important. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that bell for all notifications. Support the podcast via Patreon. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And BlueChew.com. Use code JD at checkout. Try it for free. All you guys got to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling, man. Thank you guys so very much. I am getting out of here, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow night for SmackDown Live as we coronate King Corbin as the 2019 King of the Ring. See you then.